Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with Novelties. Today, I have my not so little brother with me in the studio for an episode titled CF10 on the series Del Resto. So, hello, Yousuf.
Hello.
Welcome on the
Good
podcast.
to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's really good to have you. I hope you like the content. I hope we create a great episode.
Hopefully so. Hopefully.
Yeah, okay. So, as a prelogue to CF10, moving to a new city, a new country, a new continent is something surreal. This experience is absolutely mind numbing and brain fogging, just as much as it is inexplicable and irreplaceable. Moving to uni has been an inexplicable journey, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I am so lucky that I get to sign off this experience by sharing it with my brother. And so, yet, for another shocking and surprising addition to this podcast, um, I thought that it was a wonderful idea to bring along a fresher and maybe scare him and the rest of fresher audiences with my experiences as a third year, or at least my entire journey. And I think my brother, as as a first viewer to my life, can attest to
Yeah.
that. I think so. And also, I guess maybe give myself a little bit of a reminiscing moment of all the wonders of being a first year. Okay, so without further ado, start us off by telling us what your major is and the biggest shock or unexpected thing that you didn't see coming in your course.
So I major in business management, and I think the biggest shock that I faced was I think the first feeling of me being officially alone and responsible of myself because I wasn't really prepared as much as I thought that I was prepared, as much as people guided me towards this step in life. I feel like I walked into it very much unprepared. I was very scared to leave my comfort zone, leave my hometown, and come to a all new place, which I thought I was familiar with, having visited you multiple times. But it was just completely different. It was a whole new area, a lot of new experiences awaiting me, and I was just very anxious to get it started with.
Okay. Um, I feel like it was very vague. What are the things that you feel like because you said that you thought you had prepared
Hmm.
yourself and you felt
Yeah,
unprepared or underprepared
yeah.
when you first arrived. So what are these things? Is it like in terms of that you have to be on your own schedule and get to uni on class, or is it as like naive as just being uncomfortable with the fact that you have so many people around you now?
So I was never really scared of being around people. It was more of back in Oman, you had a comfort to rely on. If you wake up too late, you have someone to wake you up to go to uni or to school. You had someone to cook for you, you had someone to clean for you. Not that we didn't do those things, but once you're fully alone, you really understand the responsibility that you have. You are living your own life with full freedom, which is good on one hand because you can do whatever you want. But on the other hand, you are responsible of your own life, and that comes with many challenges, many different situations that you have to go against and try and stand.
I think it's very positive that we're doing this episode because I feel like from my experience of living with you,
Yeah.
I don't think I can I don't feel that you are doing all of this processing that
Fair.
you're able
Yeah.
to explain
Mm.
now or like enunciate to me. So that's good. That makes
Yeah,
me
fair.
very proud because I feel like there's a lot of there are hints and there are some actual verbatim sentences that you've said
Yeah.
that I had already said when I was talking about my first year. So that's good.
Thank
That's
you.
really nice. That's good. Okay. Um, I caught something that you said, and you were like that it was never an issue for you to be
Yeah.
around a lot of people, and I want you to talk more about that in terms of like who, just like you going to uni and like the personality that came with you.
So moving out of Oman, I was happy with my circle back in Oman. I was happy with the personality that I showed and displayed to people. I thought that I would get away with a lot of friends. I felt like it was a perfect situation. When I came to Cardiff, I thought that it would be the same situation where I go into uni, I find my people, I find the people who like to interact with me, who I like to interact with, who I can see growing with mentally, and everything would be perfect. And then as the first uni day came closer, I realized that I had some nerves because the people that I know beforehand were like I've been with them for like my whole life, whereas now I'm entering a whole new playing field, and I hadn't really cracked the code that everyone is starting off at zero now.
Mm.
I thought that I was the only one who was starting off at zero, and the imposter syndrome hit where as soon as I entered, someone else answered a question, and I was like, "Oh, I wouldn't have answered that. I don't really know that." And then I went into a spiral of not knowing what I know, what I do know, and that just hit me. Where, as in, I wouldn't be able to click with these people because they might be smarter than me, or they might like different things that I wouldn't like. And the first day had ended with me having basically no friends, barely like meeting anyone new. I was just with a couple of two people who I was with in induction day, and then I got back home and I texted my friends back in Oman, and then I think someone told me it's okay, you're very extroverted. You just have to let that side take control. You just need
Yeah.
to. It's a risk that you have to take. And then the next
Mhm.
day I went in, my extroverted side took over, and the next thing I knew, I was talking to everyone. I was making conversations. I was answering more questions. I was talking to the teachers, and it just felt like it came to me naturally.
That's very nice and that's very positive. And I know that it kind of started off with a bit of a wobble,
Hmm.
but I'm so glad that you had such a wonderful support system um, to kind of just remind you, give you a little bit of a nudge that it's a new experience, change is hard, it's
Hmm.
scary, it sometimes throws you off, makes you doubt in who you have already established as yourself. And yeah, it gets you a bit wobbly, but that's very
Yeah.
nice. Um, to show you a little bit of the other side, and I know you know about it extensively, but to kind of just portray the reality of the extremes, I guess, that could differ in experiences. So, my experience, I didn't leave school with a huge friend group. My experience was so different to yours to the extent that I didn't really even, I was so introverted that I didn't even have many people that I knew or even created like any sort of connection with outside of my school.
Hmm.
And it's because that's just kind of who I am. Very sort of introverted, and I was kind of just like you. I was in the same school
Hmm.
my whole life, and so I just was in that bubble. And yes, maybe that I didn't have a huge friend group or a certain amount of people or just one person that was around me all the time. That was just not my experience. And I kind of just chose the just like being, I was just me. I don't know
Hmm.
how else to explain it. Like I was just me.
Yeah.
I was part of friend groups, but I wasn't like in the friend group. Like I wasn't like, I was just kind of like, I even like, I feel like this is something that everyone would say yes to. Like I was in part of a friend group at some point,
Hmm.
but not always and all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know, this type of seclusion kind of always has been a part of who I am. And and I also chose it. And so I did not end high school with a huge friend group. And I wanted to change that ever so desperately. I wanted to find my people.
Hmm.
And before I even begin to continue this story, I want to tell everyone who is feeling the same way, I am still on that journey of finding my people. It takes a very long time. It takes a lot of confidence, a lot of bravery, a lot of courage to keep feeling like you have to distance yourself from specific people that you either keep returning to and being like, oh my God, I'm getting a second chance. Those might be my people. Or you meet new people and you're like, mm, not yet. It's fine. It's really okay. And you can keep going. So when I did start uni, I really wanted to change that whole thing. I felt like I needed to revamp it. And so because I'm super smart and 18, I decided that it was an absolutely like out of world idea to shed my whole like past personality and have a new one. have a new, extroverted, friendly with everyone, yes to everything, um, person
Yeah.
with so many friends. Like I was just like, you know what, that khalas, like that needs to happen. And so I did. And I do not recommend that. My personal experience says, Merak, do not recommend this to anyone. Um, the funny thing is, I only now realize after listening to your storytelling that I really wish that I had some sort of like solid friend group that I could have relied on to be like, hey, by the way, I'm doing this, and then be like, by the way, you absolutely do not like the person you're trying to become, and you yourself would not be friends with her.
Yeah.
So stop. And then the other thing was, even if that I didn't have this kind of group, a lot of things kept going wrong. And I kept being put in uncomfortable situations. And I kept saying, it's okay, let's keep doing this. Or like, maybe I'm doing it wrong, let me
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it, let me keep trying it differently. So, no, don't force things that keep showing you that they're not fitting.
Mm.
It's either not the puzzle you're supposed to be in, or you like still need to grow into that puzzle shape to fit into a specific puzzle. I hope that made sense. So, yeah, I guess that is just to kind of initiate the whole episode and show how like different sides of like the spectrum this experience can go. And just as like a kickoff point to the episode and like a little bit of a message that goes into the prelogue from someone who wrote it, I want this episode to show the vast differences between Yousuf and I's experience and to say that it could really go either way or neither way, and that it's important for you to know that it's okay that it doesn't go either way or one of those ways, or completely differently, and that you need to validate this experience from within. Like you should not compare your experience with others, because you are truly all on different paths in every way possible. And I know that you may be experiencing similar things, such as like realizing how much actual work that needs to go into your
Mm.
actual day-to-day life, or like how you need to become more independent, more self-reliant, more self-serving, not self-serving, but like self-sufficient. There we go, more self-sufficient. And yes, because you are all starting uni and in the exact age range of like 17 to 18. So obviously you all will be experiencing what like most people at 17, 18 experience. So yes,
Mm.
that you guys can relate on. But realistically, you're all very different people on your own journeys. And so it uni will mean something different to everyone, but it will be the lesson that you need to have at that point of your life.
Mm.
And so trust in it, and be easy on yourself and enjoy it. Enjoy it because it goes away so fast. I didn't believe my dad, and I'm here, third year, clutching at the very little time that I have. But I've loved it. I have enjoyed I wouldn't take it back. I really, really can stand here right now and say that, wow, it was something. But yeah, you were gonna say something. I kind of stopped you.
Not that I know exactly what I'm doing yet,
Of course.
but I would say, to add on to your words, I think everyone should make their own path because it's your own journey, it's your own path. You have to go through it. No matter how many times someone's gonna tell you my way went like this, my way went like that. At the end of the day, you're at a different time, you're going to a different place, you're studying something different, different group with people who are around you. So you just have to fix it as you go along, and you have to make your own path. Stay true to yourself and make your own path, make your own journey.
Stay true to yourself. That really is like it's the whole base
Yeah.
of it all. Don't do what I do. Um, yeah, it's just like an unnecessary detour. It really, really is. You be so confident in who you are and who you've become at that beginning, stage of just a whole new experience. So now that we've set the scene, let's get into what first year has actually been like for you, or at least first semester of year one. The things you didn't see coming, the lessons you're learning, and how it feels sharing this city and this experience with me.
I
Do
I
you want to? Sorry,
I
go
thought I
on.
thought it would be a walk in the park.
Okay.
I genuinely thought it would be a walk in the park. I think you saw that in me as well because you kept on warning me about it, and Baba, Mama, everyone warned me about how it will be different when I come to uni. But I didn't really care for that. I thought it would be a walk in the park. Came here with high expectations, got shut down really quickly. With the whole living standard, with having to, it's different living with you when there's other people around, as to living with you when it's just us two, and that also hit fast. And being like you're literally in charge of your own self at this point in this stage, so it hits you quickly that you have to get on the level to be responsible of yourself, of what you need, essentials to just stay alive, let alone to focus on your academics, on your hobbies, and everything else.
Yeah.
So those were my first notes as soon as I
Okay.
as soon as I
Yeah.
reached Cardiff. I thought that it would be a walk in the park. I thought that I would be able to just
Yeah.
adapt to the situation automatically, and it just didn't happen. Like you said, I just didn't fit into the puzzle, and I
Okay.
thought that I was the problem.
Okay.
Whereas it just took me some time to adapt, to fit into the puzzle and figure my way around, figure out how I'm supposed to do this situation, how I'm supposed to deal with the situation, how I'm supposed to, how to go through each step
Okay.
one by one to get to where I want to be able to say I have fully been stable. Because it's all about instability. As soon as you
Mm.
move from one place to another, different people, more academics, everything's more focused. I think you're surrounded by instability, and you have within all that chaos, you have to find some place stable for you to understand. Take a second for yourself, just breathe, figure out what you're doing, what you're going through, and how to move forward from it.
Yeah. Thank you for you kind of just gave off the icebreaker.
Yeah.
Like wow, I think I really see you as a tiny bit a little bit more mature. Um if we weren't on a podcast, I would never admit this to you. But yeah, no, I'm really impressed with how you like articulated the experience and the surrealness to it, and how many layers it had as well. That was very impressive. That was very nice. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
that little icebreaker. Um, I don't know how to jump off of that. Wow. My icebreaker, on the other hand, was something like let's start at the very beginning. The version of you that walked into uni on day one, who was he, and how does he compare to the person sitting here now?
I think I was very naive, very simple minded. Heading into it, like I said, I thought that I had it all figured out. I thought I would be able to crack the code really quickly. And I think through these first 4 months, I can tell you, I genuinely still don't know what I'm doing or what's going on. I'm just grabbing onto rope trying to climb up. But I think sitting here now, I've taken a lot of opportunities, made a lot of choices, some that I regret, some that I'm happy that I did. And I don't think no one's perfect. You'll always make choices that you'll regret. There's always going to be something bad that you've done. But I think sitting here today, I can be content with how far I've gone from then to now. I still don't have the hang of it, but I think slowly and surely I would win the race. Trying to, but yeah, that's how I've moved from 4 months forward.
The one thing that I do when I kind of really um, scrutinize is that it's not a race. It's really, really not. It's a journey. And I don't know if you use that as like a little bit of like a pick me up or like a pep up to the sentence, or you
Hmm.
actually were thinking of being at uni as something of a race. It's really, really not. And I think I'm very proud that I really one of I did not hold to on to a lot of things that anyone really advised me before
Mm.
uni, because like I said, I really just wanted to do like I don't know what I wanted to do. But like this was one of the things that I really did hold on to, and it's just that like you really have to live in the moment, because if you don't, you will at some point, and I hope for people not too late, and I don't want anyone to reach that stage, is when it's after uni.
Mm.
It's like you really have to keep reminding yourself so that not even in the middle of it you sit down and you're like, oh my god, I only have XYZ time left and I've barely done anything. Or like I've spent most of my time being stressed about the things that I'm not doing instead of enjoying the things that I am doing. And
Mm.
so, irrespective of what it is that you're doing at uni, the major, the activities, the hustles on the side, because oh my god, this was not even a hustle when I did start uni.
Yeah.
If you tell Milak, who is just like, oh
Yeah.
my god, if you tell 18-year-old Milak that she's sitting here right now recording in a proper studio, I think
Yeah.
she'd definitely laugh in your face. Like, she'd tell you, she would not believe you. But, so yeah, live in the moment. It is not a race. Enjoy every annoying, disturbing, scary, anxious, happy, loud, colorful, whatever it is, honestly, just enjoy it all. And like, because I'm here and I'm done, and like I'm happy. I'm happy that it's about to finish, but it's a very weird thing to be happy and sad about something. So very here and there. Okay, so to kind of like carry on through that, what is a fear that you had about university that shaped your expectations, and but when did you realize that it wasn't true? Because I don't know if you had if you had the chance to
Mm.
really
Still in the process.
still in the process.
But I think the first worry that I had was I wouldn't fit in, or
Okay.
that I wouldn't. I think for me to succeed academically or just in life, I have to have that backbone of support. So for me,
Of like a community.
yeah, of a community,
Okay.
of feeling involved, of feeling
Yeah.
your presence is needed in a place.
Okay.
Not needed.
Appreciated.
Yeah, your presence is appreciated in a place where you can feel comfort within all the chaos that's
Yeah.
happening. So back in Oman, my backbone would be my friend group, my family, my people.
Yeah.
But being here, coming to a whole new playing field, it felt away, just felt away from home. I
Yeah.
felt like I didn't have the people that I needed to be there with me to support me. And so going into it, I needed to find my community straight away. And I
Mhm.
felt like that was a fear that I wouldn't fit in
Yeah.
to where I'm going to. Maybe some people don't have, like, our perspectives don't align,
Mhm.
or what we like aren't the same. So that was the biggest fear for me. I wouldn't get my people. I wouldn't have my community. I wouldn't have my backbone to support me through all the tough situations that I'll face, as well as obviously academically.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fears because going into it, it's a lot of pressure. Having a sister who is an overachiever
Oh wow, thanks.
is a lot of pressure to stay at that standard, to impress just as much as she impressed, to compete with the other people, my fellow classmates. It all just felt a little bit nerve wracking.
Mhm.
You just get thrown into it.
You really do.
You don't have any time to you just come into a new country where you have to adapt to you not being at home, and then
Yeah.
as soon as you find some stability in the fact that you're living in a different place, they just throw you in there and they're like,
Yeah.
adapt,
It's like
survive.
it's a bit of a whack-a-mole
Yeah. And
experience.
seriously, no one tells you, no matter how much advice anyone gives you, no matter who tells you where to go, what to study, no one will ever tell you, or if they tell you, you won't be able to
You won't really
comprehend.
able to grasp it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
you
just
just
won't.
get thrown in there, and then you have to survive. Like you're thrown into the ocean. You have to survive with all the
Yeah.
sharks who you think are sharks at the
Yeah.
beginning because you don't know anyone.
It's so, yeah. It has to be so black and white.
Yeah.
That just gave me a very vivid mental image of Maram taking us ice skating. I don't know if she did that to you. Maybe she just bullied me. She she took me ice skating for the first time.
She just threw you in.
She took me all the way to the middle, and she was like, "Okay, that's it." And she went farther away, and she's like, "I was like, oh, that's
Thank
oh
you.
yeah." If I were just to go back to one of the things that you were saying, and it's about wanting to have a community, And not to like spin off too far away, but what I did want to kind of just help navigate this feeling, and I think we get into it more later on in the episode, but it's more about how much this experience actually explains to you or forces you more of to learn that there are some things that you will have to like do for yourself or be enough for yourself. You have to be yourself's
Mm.
backbone. And yeah, you just kind of, it teaches you to reach a level of comfortableness within yourself where you know that you are like, you're just self-fulfilling. To answer the question that was directed to you, I guess, to kind of just give off something that I've wrote down from what I remember, my fears were at university and how it shaped my expectations. I didn't have any fears, and I think that's what allowed me to listen to my risky urge to start off a new Melak identity, which ironically made me experience a full circle moment where I was like, no, this is not me. And Yusuf, you said something so poetic the other day. You said you didn't change your personality, you ended up amplifying it, which is so funny. And it's because I really sat down and said, why am I pushing so hard to be someone I am not? And it's so funny because it literally ended me, like, it ended up, like, I went on so many unnecessary detours, so many bumps in the road, so many clashes, that regular old me would just,
Mm.
like, be chilling, vibing in the corner. And I did all of that. But I did learn a lot of things. And yeah, so anyway, I sat down and I really said, I am not carefree, unbothered, nonchalant. No. And if you will, I am the most chalantest person like you have ever met. Like, there is not one thing that does not pass me by where I do not have like some sort of like,
Some sort of comment.
not just some sort, no, that makes me sound so judgy. Maybe I am judgy. But like, it's just, yeah, like I care so much about anything and everything up to like the tiniest detail of
Mm.
stuff. So yes, the most chalantist person ever. That what I want to say is that I realized very early on whom I wanted to be. And this is, it's giving off like super black sheep arc, but I just like never fit in. And it's not how you explained it, where it's just like a new experience where
Mm.
you're just trying to like grow into or like slowly prepare yourself into. No, I just genuinely never felt like I had a community where people understood me. So, and I used to classify it as an insecurity, but I've grown to realize that perhaps I'm not made to fit in, you know? It was like, perhaps I really should stand out. And why would I ever be shy about having qualities that make me unique? And I think that sometimes this comes off super like, hey, look at me. And like me, which is so funny because I recently had this. I was doing this project with my friend, and it involved me being very confident in public,
Yeah.
which seems to be something I enjoy because I have a podcast that is on YouTube and like that I promote on social media. And I was telling her that I hate this. I don't like being seen publicly. I don't like being referred to as an influencer because what does that even mean? And I don't like being the center of attention. And a lot of people would be like, "Oh my god, she's lying. Oh my god, she's pick me." I don't like being the center of attention. I don't mind being the vessel in which I spread the message that has to be the center of attention, because I feel like I do not mind being a vessel if a message is big enough, if it's important enough, if it's necessary enough, then I will be this vessel to promote it, to bring it out to the world. But I don't like the fact that I am out in the world now because I don't like the attention that it brings. So no, I actually am very, very, very like a secluded person. I like this like nobodiness
Yeah.
of me. But what I'm trying to explain is that I am not seeking for that fame, for that glory type of, I just really like helping people get access to things that like they might want to hear, or like, just like someone else's
You
experience.
have an important message that would be very beneficial for a lot of people, and you want to send that message out to the world so
Yeah.
that if someone is in need and he
Yeah.
can't
Yes.
or he doesn't have the resources to access the help necessary, you are there to be a vessel to them, understanding, not to help, but for them to understand that they are not alone in this journey, and there are more people than you think who actually need that support. Me personally, not to be a yes man, like you're my sister and everything, but at the beginning of the podcast, I genuinely did think it was just a cast project,
It
and
did start as a
I
cast.
didn't really think much of it. But as time goes along, as you grow up, you understand that there are a lot of moments where you do really feel alone, and you need something like this to encourage you to understand that you are not just alone by yourself. You have a lot of other people who are maybe afraid to speak up, that they need that help, but there are a lot of people who do need that help. And this could be a way to help and reach out to people so they know that they're not alone.
That is, you have taken the words right out of my mouth. Thank you. This is genuinely the purpose of the podcast. Like, this is what I want my audience. I want every single one of my audience to verbatim, like without practicing, be able to say that this was what I received. This is why it was created. Because at the end of the day, this was my need,
Mm.
and I wanted to provide it to people. You know. So for, I guess, like the next little proper like question prompt. Yes, prompt. Um, what did you think uni would give you, and what has it actually given you so far?
I didn't really think of much of uni. I thought that it was just a path for me to reach to where my end goal is, or like to excel in the future. So I didn't really think much of it. I thought that I would gain more intelligence, more confidence, more clarity in myself of who I am. A lot of people told me that I'd figure out more about myself, figure more about my wants and needs, and who I want to be associated with. My further engrave my morals and my values. And now, after 4 months, I could say that I have truly discovered more about myself. I've reflected a lot on past choices that I've made. Um, I see who's close to me, who's far.
There's a lot more of that to come, I can
Yeah,
assure you.
and moreover, I feel like going into this uni experience, having not thought much of it, I feel like I really got hit by a truck to understand just how much I'm learning as I move on in this journey.
Mm. I think there's a lot of similarities from like your experience and mine, but also a bit of differences. I also didn't really have much expectations. I didn't think of it as a path. I knew that there were a lot of experiences that I wanted, like I knew specifically the things that I wanted to do, and I knew like that I wanted these, and that's why I chose where I chose to
Yeah,
study. Like a lot of that went to it. But in terms of like the small details of what to expect, that was something that I was so grateful that I did not like plan to happen, but it just so ended up
yeah,
happening. I was very glad that I didn't have this chalantness about like how I ended up here. And I think it was very lucky. I was very lucky that it happened that way. If if I were like in control of it, it wouldn't have gone that way. And I think that helped me a lot in terms of settling in. And I was also lucky that I love Cardiff. Like that was also something that I was super lucky in. And I think not knowing so much about it made it so much easier to love. If
Yeah.
we kind of just like move in a different direction and kind of just talk about first impressions, or sort of like the reality check of what it's about, when like I like to call it the Cardiff reality, just because it makes sense for both of us.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the excitement versus what actually hit you. And so I guess the question would be, what were you most excited about before moving here, and how has that changed now that you're living here for a while?
I thought that I'd be most excited about the freedom that I'd have.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that being in control of every decision that I make in the day, being my own person, would be really freeing.
Mm.
And that comes with a lot of perks. But now, 4 months in, I could tell you it comes with a lot of negatives as well. Because you don't really understand the responsibility that you have on yourself until you have that responsibility. Freedom is amazing. You get to do whatever you want. You get to come back home whenever you want. No mom or baba to tell you to come back. But at the same time, you feel like you lose that sense of security. You don't have a cushion to fall on. As well as I was very excited to meet the new people. I was very excited to see how I would cope outside of my comfort circle,
Mm-hmm.
and just see how I would live.
Mm.
I was also very excited to see how I would cope with just living with you.
Mm.
That came with a lot of, that was a roller coaster as well in itself. And
Like living with a sibling.
yeah, living with a sibling out, let alone just living with someone else. I always thought that it would be a really cool experience when I came to uni to live with someone else. I felt like it was a bit of a cop out, seeming as I'm living with my sister.
Yeah.
You would think it would be really easy. It's really not.
You're making me
Not
sound
not
like
not to
a really
not to make
crazy
you
person.
sound not to make you sound as a bad person or anything, but it is genuinely really hard to accommodate not only for yourself but for someone else. Even
Mm-hmm.
if they're your sibling, you
Mm-hmm.
understand that once you both have your individual freedom and you're living together, you have to integrate one's freedom with another,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes you have to compromise. And
Mm.
you'd assume going to uni with that freedom, you wouldn't have to compromise for everyone because
Mm.
you have your own freedom. But it really does take a toll. So it takes a minute for you to adjust to understand that you're not only thinking for yourself here. And I think I still do get that wrong,
Mm.
but you are like thinking of two different people,
Mm.
and then going into it as well, you have
I
to.
think it brings a lot to it, the fact that we're family.
Yeah.
I don't think that you would have to be um so sensitive and so caring and so like careful with it if it was
Another
like,
person.
yeah, obviously it would be another story if it was a new friend,
Yeah.
obviously an even other story if it was like, I think those experiences all kind of, and that's what I kind of mean, like um this whole experience, like it's so unique and so like
Individual to you.
individual to you, that like you are all, yes, experiencing the same thing, but it's so different. Like this was meant for you, you know, it was meant for you to experience your first year with a family member, and you're supposed to learn these things the way that you're learning them. You're supposed to experience this, is what I'm trying to say is. And so just like make the best of that. One of the most important topics that I think were important to discuss on this episode is learning about yourself when you're alone, or like semi alone. It's just like an experience that you're taking on, and um, as an adult individual, you know, is what I'm trying to say. And so living away from home changes you, and I want to talk about what that's taught you so far about yourself. And then also now about us living together. What has living away from home taught you about yourself outside of family and routine? And just to kind of like set the tone for you, I have realized that I love cooking and baking if I had to do it for people, or if it's just to like blow off some steam. I love that. I think it's one of my hobbies. I love my alone time. I cannot give up my alone time whatsoever, and I need them. I need them for like just like touching base with myself, or just like to ground myself. I am very locked in place now to be able to very confidently say that I know that I am organized and sorry, I am a self-organized and goal-oriented person, and that I am hyper focused on cleanliness. There is like I cannot stand that stuff, and that I need help getting out of the house because I fear and loathe making solo plans, which is why having my little brother who is absolutely in love with attending football matches a very good way to lose my money before the month even begins and to escape house rotting instead of bed rotting. But yeah, so that's kind of like my
Okay.
little.
So as a starter,
Mm,
I don't think I ever had alone time or
yeah.
like thought to myself. I feel like I always have to be fidgeting with something or doing something or having something play in the background.
Hmm.
So I remember there's like a specific moment. There was you were working, you had uni work, and I had just came back from uni and I had finished all my work for the day.
Hmm.
And I wanted to open up a show,
Mm.
and I just didn't feel the need to open the show. So I was just sitting there by myself. I was looking at the ceiling. I was like, wow, I'm alone. And then I was like trying to think, like my brain had no thoughts. Like I was trying to make a conversation with myself, see what's happening in my body, what's happening in my life. And I just realized that I've never talked to myself properly before, to
Hmm.
myself
Hmm.
when I'm bored, for example.
Hmm.
And then it hit me like you are truly alone. So you have to really understand how to be able to live with yourself so you don't like fall into boredom or
I think there are a little bit bigger issues than boredom.
or depression or
No,
other
it's
stuff.
not. It's not just like negative. I mean, yes, it is negative, but I
Mm.
mean, like, it's not like in the terms of like needing to seek help for like something that is not stable within you
Yeah.
emotionally or like mentally. But I mean to say is that you need to be able to find comfort within being with
With
yourself.
yourself.
There's a lot that is carried with and held within that. There's a lot that stems from if you not only don't know how to speak with yourself is like the utmost like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
starting level is how will you ever be able to communicate to others what you are
Feeling,
experiencing and
expressing, yeah.
feeling if you can't even give and take with your own self in terms of that. So that was wonderful. But I did ask you, what are the things that you've realized besides?
Besides that,
Yeah,
I think I've had a lot more time to reflect on myself.
yeah.
I feel like since I've been here, I think I've taken a moment to just step back every day and like take a look at what I've done in the past, what I've done today, what I can change, what I can do better. Because I feel everyone's life goes through multiple different arcs, and
Mhm.
I feel like from my last arc in Oman in high school, I didn't really I don't feel like I lived it to the maximum, and I felt like I left a lot of stories unfinished in Oman.
Mm.
A lot of my last arc didn't really get completed. A lot of stories ended in a bad way, where I knew I
Mm.
could have fixed it, but I don't didn't think I had the right time, or I
Mm.
had ruined it completely. So
Mm.
going into uni and having a lot of spare time or free time, I've been reflecting more, trying to understand what went wrong, what I can do better, how I can change myself as a person to be more accommodating to fix those situations, be more accommodating to people, and to just not fall into the same mistakes that I have before, not to do the same choices that I made before, and just go from there. Make myself a better person for myself, so I can be more helpful, so I can live a happier life, so I can be more content with myself, with my choices. Obviously, I will never be perfect again. There will be a lot of choices that you will regret, but trying to limit them, trying to understand that you will make mistakes, you will make a lot of wrong choices, but it's not about how you fall, it's about how you get back up, how you get your get back.
I think that's very positive. I think that is what I kind of have been trying to explain to you. This is in my eyes at least I look at that as a very wonderful explanation and like like articulate visual of
Yeah.
the process of self development. You kind of talked about this and we can kind of like cut and add. For the last segment, I've titled it sibling stuff, or like CF10's life together. Um, And I guess the questions that I have on, and you kind of can just like jumble them
Mm-hmm.
around and give me a bit of an like a let off. How does it feel having your sister in third year while you're just starting? Does it comfort you, pressure you, or inspire you? You've touched on that a little bit. What's something you think we're learning together, even though we're in different stages of uni? And what's the biggest difference between our personality when it comes to navigating life here? I think these are really, really nice. Yeah.
I think our lifestyle or our dynamic here in Cardiff is all about synergy.
Okay.
So if my mental is in one situation and yours is another, then it can go either way. It's
Mm,
either really good or really bad.
mm,
So I think us being here really like being put together,
mm.
just us, it really gives us a chance to understand how it is to live with someone else
Yeah.
for future reference as
Yeah.
well, because you will
And I think it gives us a very safe space as well to,
if you make
yeah.
a mistake, you still have a chance to grow from it and to understand where you went wrong and to fix it for
And someone's
further.
directly, very honestly
Yeah,
telling you this is wrong and this is hurtful or this is,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, I like that.
and
Sorry. Didn't think of it. I mean, yeah, I'm learning a lot.
I think having someone in third year as first year, it would be pressure and intimidating because I think you are an overachiever and you are very driven and focused in what you want to do, very passionate. So you have your own set in stone way of life, and you already know what goes where, how to do what. Simplest example could be like cooking.
Hmm.
You know what you're doing. You
But
know,
cooking is not simple.
yeah, yeah. But like I'm saying, as in like as an example, you know what you want to cook. You know how to cook it. You know how you want it to be presented. Whereas me, as a first year, I have never really entered in that field. So
You don't even like food.
yeah, I don't even like food.
Yeah.
So going into that situation, it's kind of intimidating and puts pressure on me because I know you're not here to baby me around or anything like that. You are here as help, but at the same time, I am also going through my own journey, and you are going through your own journey. So I'm not supposed to over rely on you. Once you are gone, I won't necessarily know what I'm doing if I over relied on you.
Hmm.
So going into that, it is a bit filled with pressure,
Mm.
and it's kind of intimidating trying to reach that same level. Or if something, if a burger gets burnt or something like that, it does put me down sometimes. But I
I
think
mean, hey, you're eating a burnt burger
yeah,
for dinner. I mean, that's got nothing to do with me.
but it does put in perspective how I'm supposed to motivate myself to do better next time, how I'm supposed to go about it.
Yeah.
As well as you being in third year, it inspires me because I see how far you've come.
Mm.
So it gets me motivated to how far I can go, what limits I can cross, what my boundaries are, and just trying to get better from there. And I think it is really helpful having a helping hand, someone who already knows what they're doing. To if you ever feel stuck or if you ever feel lost, you have a guiding hand to tell you, not to pave the way for you because you're gonna pave your own way, but to tell you this is what I've done. You can do your own thing, but this is what I've done and it worked for me. So you can do something similar to it, or you can take some guidance from what I've done. But at the same time, it also comes with the negatives of having someone that already knows what they're doing. So it feels a little bit intimidating to understand that you're at level
Mm-hmm.
one and they're at level three.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to be able to stand on that, you would have to go through all of that, and you don't really have that
Mm-hmm.
opportunity
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Yeah. I think I just remembered when I was trying really hard to remember what you were saying so I can kind of round
Yeah.
back to it. And it's now because you kept saying it a lot, it's that you feel like you, because of my alleged overachieving, that you feel like you need to get up to a similar standard or an equivalent standard than as your older sister. And as anyone viewing me and like thinks of me as like an older sister, and people who actually do have older siblings, I would like to tell you firstly, as an older sibling, we see you as absolute perfect creatures, and sort of like are like extra babies. And so seeing you guys grow up is like super hard, but it's also like we want your experience to be so much smoother and so much easier, and that's why we sometimes might come off I sometimes might come off super hard. And it's genuinely just because seeing you guys fail is sort of, or like doing something that you're struggling at or you're unable to do it properly, is sort of very reminiscent and very close to us viewing our little self. And we have an actual image of you as babies, so that's actually harder.
Mm.
And we see that little person that we love, have so much love for, is struggling or like unable to do things, and you're like, okay, but I'm like teaching you, I'm trying to help you. And it's like, so yeah, that's why it comes off really hard. It's just because I simply don't want you to make mistakes that I've made, because I didn't have anyone to very meticulously tell me the heat needs to be on this and you need to put the burger on in a specific way so it doesn't burn and it cooks through. So yeah, don't hold yourself to a standard that you feel like does not align with you.
Mm.
Don't force things that you don't think fit just because your older sister or your older brother is doing that, or that they had achieved that, or they had done that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you need to pursue law or that you need to create a mental health podcast. But I also would not want you to be sitting and doing nothing. I would like you to also be doing the most extreme. That is where you need to push yourself to be, if that is in your character, to push yourself to the extreme and create things that align with
Mm.
you. You know, do things that make sense to you, and the pressure that makes sense to you, and the timeline that makes sense to you at the time. And like, you know, just you.
Make your own journey.
You,
At least you're
literally.
doing something, but make your own journey.
Yeah.
Pave your own path.
Yeah. So yeah, that's in terms of like what I wanted to say in the expectation. So that was CF10 for you guys. Like I said, it's like this episode is very special to me. This whole entire experience is very special to me. I have to say this, but I can't believe that I get to have my best friend with me, you know, and living the best life I could ask for. Like, it could not be better, you know? So, a little chaos, a lot of learning, some real talk between siblings, figuring things out. First year, third year, um, different like parts of your life, different timelines of the journey. It really doesn't matter. It's about taking each moment as it comes, owning your choices, and remembering that growth isn't a straight line. We're learning, stumbling, figuring things out, and finding our rhythm. And that's exactly how it's meant to happen. No scripts, no filters, no hyper planning, micromanaging, and over planning and organizing. It's just life as it comes.
And just a note to all freshers, not to make myself as a staple here or anything like that, but you are going through uncharted territory. A lot of my friends and me are going through uncharted territory. You will feel lost at a lot of times, just as I have felt lost at a lot of times. I hope that this podcast can be a helping hand to you all, because that is the purpose that it serves. And go through the mistakes, go through those choices. You will regret some, but there will be a lot that you don't regret. And it's all about growth. It's not gonna be a straight line. It's a very hectic roller coaster. But with guidance, with help, ask for guidance, and hopefully you will reach where you want to reach.
That is wonderful. A note to freshers from a third year is if you're feeling lost, that means you're in uncharted territory, which is exactly where you've been wanting to get. So it's okay if you're feeling a little lonely. It's probably because you finally outgrew the circles that you always wanted to outgrow. Did you just think, and this is kind of for you as well, that there was going to be a party of people waiting for you to arrive after you've made this entire change? Because I can tell you firsthand, there was not. And so this creates frustrations, and these frustrations, these feelings do not mean that you stop. These frustrations do not mean that you made the wrong turn. Maybe you did take unnecessary reroutes, and but that doesn't mean that you should go back to your old life or go back to your old ways. Surprisingly, these feelings, they are signals. And they're telling you that you have gotten to where you're supposed to be, and to feel slightly lost, to feel slightly lonely, it you're supposed to have these feelings. It's a change, and so you're supposed to wonder what's next, because you want to go somewhere, and and that somewhere, your current identity, your current being, this current version of you has never been. And so what were you so surprised about? You are going to feel frustrated because this new identity, not the one that you've revamped because you felt like because you didn't fit in, you need to make a new person. No, it's what you're working to better yourself and become that best version. It's it doesn't fit in your old lifestyle, and that's because you would like to change it. And like I said in the beginning, my very lovely expression of the puzzle, it's like working with a puzzle that has a missing piece. You're supposed to have a bit of frustration, you're supposed to feel a bit lost, you're supposed to feel a bit lonely because you're going somewhere new, and that's exactly what you've been praying and hoping and working so hard for. So keep going, and I promise you that the light at the end of the tunnel gets brighter, that, the picture becomes clearer. The voices in your head start sounding so much nicer and less meaner, and you will end up sitting in a studio recording, in whatever translated way that means in your life. So that's all for today, dear Novelties listeners. Keep a lookout for the rest of the episodes, and don't forget to show this episode some love, download, share, and most importantly, don't forget to tune back in next week. Thank
Thank
you.
you for tuning in. It's a wrap.